didn't wear body armor, he didn't carry a scope, and he barely said a word. But in just 105 days, this quiet Finnish farmer became the most lethal sniper in history. It's late 1939 and Europe is already under siege, with Hitler storming through Poland. Meanwhile, Joseph Stalin has his sights set on Finland, and on November 30, the Soviet Union invades. 500,000 Red Army troops pour across the Finnish border, expecting a quick and easy victory. But the Finns, outnumbered and outgunned, refuse to roll over. Among them is a quiet 33-year-old farmer named Simo Häyhä. He's not a tall bloke, not a loud bloke either. He's a modest bloke, an introvert, just a calm, solitary man from a village not too far from the Russian border. As was every young Finnish man's obligation, he served 15 months of mandatory military service previously, but that was back in 1925, so it's been a little while between drinks. Even so, Häyhä knows his way around a rifle. He grew up near a shooting range, entering local competitions and winning dozens of trophies in his youth, including one insane performance where he managed to hit a target 16 times in a minute from a distance of 500 feet. So when Finland calls him back up, it's safe to say he still has his eye in. And whatever he may lack in terms of formal training, he makes up for with deadly precision, patience, and an almost spiritual bond with Finland's frozen forests. Häyhä joins his unit on the Kola front, a remote, snow-covered region where the Soviets are trying to push through. He's one of just 32 Finnish soldiers charged with holding off an advancing force of close to 4,000 Soviet troops. It's not so much a battle as it is a masterclass in guerrilla warfare. Häyhä is a wily character. While the Soviets stick out like sore thumbs as they trudge their dark green uniforms across the blinding white terrain, Häyhä kits himself up in all white, including a white hat, hood, face wrap, a white coat, white shoes, and white mittens. It's a kit out that makes him virtually invisible in the snow. At the end of his mandatory service in the mid-1920s, Häyhä opted to purchase his service weapon, a standard bolt-action rifle. Ahead of being sent to the Kola front, Häyhä decides to ditch the more modern rifle he's been issued and instead opts for his old faithful friend, which proves to be a masterstroke when his comrades' rifles begin to jam and malfunction in the extreme cold. Interestingly, for a sniper, he chooses not to fix a scope to his rifle. This is because within a few days of joining the front, Häyhä makes the observation that in the highly reflective all-white environment in which he's operating, he's managing to identify an alarming number of enemy sniper positions purely by looking out for the telltale glints of sunlight bouncing off Soviet scopes. And so to avoid the same fate, he chooses to use the rifle's built-in iron sights, keeping a lower profile and avoiding any glare that might give him away. This also meant that Häyhä was immune from things like scope fog and scope freeze, both things that his fellow soldiers and enemies had to contend with in the brutal Finnish cold. But even without a scope, Häyhä's kill rate doesn't drop. In fact, he's devastatingly consistent. He doesn't talk, he doesn't taunt, he just sets to work. One shot, one kill, again and again and again. The Winter War, as it came to be known, and as its name implies, lasted only a single season. But over the course of 105 days, Häyhä racks up 505 confirmed kills, with some sources suggesting as many as 542 total kills. That's an average of nearly 5 kills per day. But of course, there was the odd day without a kill, and others where the kill count went through the roof, including one such day where Häyhä reportedly dropped a total of 40 men in a single 24-hour period. Of course, when a sniper hits a target, all surrounding troops are instantly put on notice. Häyhä knew this, and he had the foresight to be incredibly strategic with that first shot, always looking to target commanders, counter-snipers, communications officers, anyone whose demise offered the maximum disruption to Soviet operations. He was clinical in his methodology. He often packed snow in front of his rifle, shooting through a cylindrical hole in the mound so as to muffle the sound. He iced his barrel to eliminate steam after firing. He even held snow in his mouth so that his breath wouldn't betray him in the frozen air. As the days pass, the Soviets don't know what's hitting them, but they do know who. They start referring to Häyhä as Belaya Smrt, or the White Death, while his Finnish comrades award him the moniker of Taki Ampuja, the magic shooter. As the kill count continued to trend up, Soviet morale came crashing down. The enemy tries everything: artillery bombardments, counter-sniper squads, aggressive search patrols, but nothing works. Until one day, it finally does. On March 6, 1940, just days before the Winter War comes to an end, Simo is spotted by a Soviet sniper and shot, in the face no less, by an exploding round. His lower jaw is shattered and his cheek is blown wide open. He's rushed to a field hospital barely alive and eventually slips into a coma. He wakes up a week later on March 13th, the day peace is declared. The Winter War is over. Finland has lost some territory, but it's kept its independence. It's come at a cost of around 70,000 Finnish casualties, but for the Soviets, things are even more sobering, with close to 400,000 casualties. A brutal price for a few hundred kilometers of land. Häyhä survives, barely. It takes years of surgeries to rebuild his face, and he never fully recovers, but he also never complains. He never brags, he never seeks the spotlight. Häyhä lived the rest of his life quietly, hunting, farming, and avoiding attention until he eventually passed away in 2002 at the age of 96. Forever remembered as the quietest man in a loud and bloody war, and the deadliest sniper in recorded history. For more epic tales from the War Stories archive, hit that subscribe button to enlist today. Then, pick one of the stories on screen to select your next mission. Over and out, soldier.